Welcome, everybody, to the Star vs. the Forces of Evil podcast.
Yep, it is bespoke for the Star vs. the Force of Evil TV show.
Yep, and we are going to totally have a lot of fun.
Yep, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're talking about the second half of season 1.
The second half in sort of air quotes, because, like, we're not going perfect halvesies.
No, it's not perfect halvesies, but, you know, this is a divide of significance.
This is a divide of significance, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree, actually, after watching that there was a significant divide.
Yeah, and I'm going to start out right now. I'm just going to say, last episode, we talked a lot about the podcast, we talked a lot about the show, obviously.
Right.
And I think, despite my general positivity, we were both pretty down on it. And after that podcast, I was thinking, man, maybe I don't really like this show as much as I thought I did.
Yep.
Because you really have a way of making me miserable. I just hope you know that.
Good.
But after watching these episodes, I was like, oh yeah, that's why I like this show. So hopefully this time, I don't know, maybe we'll have more of a debate.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, maybe.
And less just me going like, yeah, I guess you're kind of right about it the whole time.
do we want to talk about our thoughts overall about these episodes, or should we leave that to the end?
I'll just give it a quick, like, general... Not go into details, just give it a quick general. What do you think?
For me, well, there was a definite improvement, I'd say. I don't think I could deny that there is a definite improvement between this and the previous batch of episodes that I reviewed. However, I still think that it is hilariously below average when it comes to any kind of cartoon that's actually good.
Alright, that's great. That's just fantastic. I win.
Yeah, okay. So you've raised this show. This is like the first half of the show was like a 2, and this is like a 2.5.
Well then, let's get right into it. Let's just start off with the episode we left off on.
Yep.
We have Fortune Cookies.
Fortune Cookies, right.
The episode in which Star learns about fortune cookies.
Yep.
And thinks the fortunes are real. That is the episode.
Yeah, so this wasn't a great start, because honestly this episode really sucked, because it's just Star being an idiot, and like it's just her being like brain dead, like she's just stupid. Like this is one of the main reasons why I dislike Star as a character, is that she's just stupid. Like she's like this is more than like fish out of water. She doesn't understand Earth stuff. She can't read. Like, she can't understand basic concepts, even when Marco, like, literally just tells her, like, man, you're really stupid, Star.
Yes, but the other thing that happened in this episode is the introduction of a new character.
Right, yes.
A new monster character named Toffee.
Yep, so this half of the season is, you could call it the Toffee arc, perhaps.
You could.
Because there's a new beast there's a new beast facing off against our two dashing heroes, and he's like a lizard man.
Yep, he's a lizard man.
He's got the best design out of any of the monsters.
He's just a lizard in a suit.
He's a lizard in a suit, which isn't exactly bursting with originality. He's got hair, which I mean it's pretty funny.
Yep.
He's got like the one finger missing. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Although he only has like 6 fingers and all, so I mean I don't know how I can stand losing that. So Toffee is like, he's basically meant to be the only cool monster. all the other monsters are complete screw ups and do nothing right.
He's the only competent monster that we've seen so far.
Yep.
And he basically just appears very briefly in the episode as as a B story to Star doing her thing.
As a B story to Star doing nothing. Yeah. Accomplishing nothing.
Yeah. Ludo's trying to find someone to whip his monsters into shape.
Yep.
And it's really great. because he just sort of appears there, and then like when he's done, he just vanishes.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
It's pretty great. And yeah, so we're introduced to Toffee, and well, we see more of him as this half progresses. But he is pretty dang cool. I like Toffee.
I mean, he's okay. I think he would be a lot cooler if he wasn't so boring. Like, he doesn't really have much going for him other than being the only competent monster.
Yeah, that's true at the moment.
He doesn't actually have any, like, personality or anything.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. For some reason, this episode is just animated really bad. I don't know if you noticed that. This episode is way worse than even some of the worst episodes.
Yeah, I don't know if I specifically remember that, because I watched this episode like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's fair. But this episode is just really bad looking.
I'll take your word on that. I'm certainly not going to question.
Even compared to the rest of the show. And especially compared to the show later in the season. So I just wanted to point that out. For some reason, this episode is just really bad looking.
Sometimes it happens.
It's really bizarre. But we're just going to move right along.
Moving right along.
Because, there was one great joke in that episode, actually.
Yeah, what was it?
And by great, I mean it was kind of funny.
Yeah, what was it?
Is when Marco falls over and she's like, hey, can you help me up? And she consults the fortune cookie before helping him up. And you just have to think, what did the fortune cookie say? Just yes, help him up? What did it say? That she decided that it meant that she could help Marco up.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
And that the whole point is that she's like reinterpreting it.
Yeah, I guess.
It's that great age-old lesson. Wow, teaching the kids some good knowledge that fortune cookies aren't real. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's a very important lesson for kids.
That's an important lesson to learn. I mean, where else would they learn this important knowledge that they shouldn't take fortune cookies literally?
Star versus the force of evil.
That's the only place they'd ever learn that.
Just like you only learn how to not climb into a dryer from Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I'll take your word on it. That it was funny.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Sure.
Moving on, we got Freeze Day.
Freeze Days. That's the time stop one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Great guess.
Ah, yes.
It's the episode where Star stops time, and then they have to go start it again, and that's the episode.
Yeah, so remember when I said there was improvements? I'm kind of doubting that, because this episode also really sucks.
This episode was... I don't think I disliked it as much as you, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah. So you have so Star stops time because Marco's being basically like, the biggest baby in the whole world, as usual. So she stops time, and then they have to go restart time by going to Time Dimension and getting the time guy to run on his giant wheel to make time go. Wow. Riveting stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, before they go to the time dimension, they do like just this whole montage of them like just goofing around the stop time. Yeah. And like, as I was watching that, I was sort of like, all of this stuff they're doing, Star could just do without time being stopped.
Yeah.
This isn't that... She could just do this stuff. She has magical power.
Yeah, so it's like the pacing of this episode is agonizing. Like, it's just like I'd have to rewatch it again to like time it out, but it feels like the entire first half of this episode is just them doing boring stuff, just like, ha ha ha, we're drawing mustaches on people while they're frozen, dude. It's so funny. And it's just like, wow, this is extremely boring. And then they get into the time dimension, right? And the time dimension is horrible. I hate the time dimension really bad. Because it's like the most generic and boring representation of a time dimension that I've ever seen. Like, it's almost unique in how boring and generic it is. Like, the lengths they went to make this as boring as possible. So, guess how do you know it's a time dimension exactly? Let me take a few guesses. Like, how do you signify that? Let's think. First I need you to put yourself in the mindset of a complete hack. Then decide what this time dimension should look like. Oh, I know. We'll just put clocks everywhere. And, we'll have a couple of them melting. Yeah, that's a really subtle art reference right there. Nobody will ever see that coming. Yeah, have them melting, just clocks everywhere, and then just have it be a regular place other than that, basically. Just any old field with some clocks thrown in.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. Until they go to that weird place with all the screens.
Yeah, and then it's just all these screens, and it's like, wait. So they're at this time place, right? And they're searching for a time dude, the stupid person. But they find this little room which is full of screens, and it shows them scenes from their lives somehow. There's like this eye that looks at them.
Yes, and then it shows them their past. So here's the thing. At what point does time monitor people? Like, is this time's job? Yeah.
Can he just read your time from looking at you? Like, what does it mean? Like, I know I'm digging a little bit deep into this, and, they just put it in there without thinking. But my point is that they put it in there without thinking, and it's boring and garbage.
It is really bizarre, because it's not like it's like from their perspective. It's like there's a camera watching them throughout their entire lives.
Well, yeah, and you know what camera it is? It's us, because it's the viewers' angles on these images.
Yeah.
So episode ends. They get the guy back on his wheel. Great work.
I don't think there was much. It was kind of boring. I don't think the time dimension ever comes back. It was just like let's have an episode.
Yeah. We gotta have a time stop episode.
Oh yeah, and there was the whole thing with Marco and Jackie, because that's the slowest developing relationship in the history of the universe.
Yeah. So with what I've heard from you and what I'm seeing, every time Jackie gets brought up, I just want to close my eyes and put a bullet in my mouth, because it's just so bad. Everything about that is just so bad.
Yeah.
This
it's funny when they're making fun of it, but they're not always making fun of it. Sometimes they try to play it genuine. It's not that funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Marco's just the biggest beta in the whole universe. Usually being beta is a virtue, but you know what? I'm gonna say Marco is taking it too far.
Okay, let's go ahead and
move
right along.
We should move right along, honestly.
I want to get through these really bad ones, because the good ones come up eventually. Yeah, okay. The next one is Royal Pain.
Oh my god, this one was awful.
I agree.
How did I say these episodes were better? They're so bad.
This is the one where Star's dad visits from Muni, and that is the episode.
Yeah, that's the episode. He's staying at Marco's house for a couple days.
Yep.
And what did you know? He's messing things up. He's being an insane, crazy person, just like Star. Yeah. So there's this whole thing where it's this Star has to realize that she's being inconsiderate, I guess, by looking at her dad being inconsiderate, and then she just continues being the same amount of inconsiderate for the rest of the show. But also, yeah, all these Muni people are insane. They're all just crazy people, apparently.
They just don't know how Earth stuff works.
Yeah, so there's a fine line between not knowing how Earth works and not knowing how anything works. What are you doing? They just take, all of their actions are just, complete non sequiturs. They just don't make sense. And that sort of, ruins the humor. It's just oh, isn't it funny that they're flushing things down the toilet? And it's just what do they expect to happen? It's just what? They're Earth magic, lol. But it's not impressive compared to anything that's actually magical. Even if they assumed that this toilet was I'm going really hard on this joke again.
Go ahead.
Even if they assumed that this hole was some kind of magical disposal hole where it goes to nowhere or something, they have those everywhere else. They see we've seen 6 of those in the series. Holes that go forever or whatever. Giant pits. It's just a hole. Why are you so impressed by this? It doesn't make any sense.
This entire episode was really dumb and boring.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in this episode.
Absolutely.
They don't hire someone with a sense of humor until like an episode from now.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But I think I'm not joking about this. I think literally in the next episode they have hired someone who has a weird, surreal sense of humor, and I really like it.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
Unless there's anything else, there's really nothing to say about this.
Trust me, there's nothing to say about this episode.
If you're going for our great like skip episodes watch through here, you can go ahead and skip this one. You can skip this one. You have to watch Fortune Cookies because it introduces an important character.
I mean,
I don't think Freeze Day is that bad.
No, you should skip it.
I think Freeze Day is alright.
It's not funny. Don't watch it.
But Royal Pain is just a terrible episode of any show.
Yeah, that's just horrible.
But then we move right along to the first double episode.
Okay, here we are.
We have St. Olga's Reformatory School for Wayward Princesses.
Yep. So this first two-parter, it's a
two-parter.
It's interesting.
Yep.
So, they gotta break Ponyhead out of...
Yeah, Ponyhead comes back.
Ponyhead comes back. You gotta break her out of the St. Olga's.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing, basically.
Well, yeah, that's the plot.
Yeah, that's the plot. It's a breakout.
Yep.
So I noticed it seemed like the animation was better in this one.
It was a little bit better in this one.
It seemed like a slight spike.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It didn't look horribly ugly for the whole time. And so this was a big step up from the other episodes because things happened in this episode.
Things did happen.
Anything happened in this episode, and it was okay. I didn't have a lot of problems with it, mostly in the fact that the whole like reform school thing, it's a little bit like drilled into your head. It's like, I get it. Yeah, they're evil. They strip you of your individuality. I get it. Like, and they just keep. And then after I get it, they're like, oh, did you know it's bad? Did you know that they take away your individuality? Did you know that school is bad? And I was, oh my god. Okay. They're bad. I get it. And then they like do like the Ludovico technique on Marco. It's just like, look guys, I get it. They're bad.
Yeah, that was pretty funny though. You don't think so?
I mean, at this point, like the whole like hold your eyes open and make you watch something, that's just like such a overdone thing that it's just like, I was just kind of like, boom. I was just bemused by it. I was just like, really, they're going for this one, huh?
I mean, one kind of funny thing about the episode was just the whole like the first half. Like Marco's like, you know what, this is actually probably fine until they like string him up and like try to brainwash him. Then he's like, okay, maybe this place is evil.
Yeah, that was really weird. It's like Marco is just like, what is he trying to prove through like the first whole half of this episode? Like, oh, it's not that bad. You got such nice rooms. Like, oh, great. Thanks, Marco. Like, if this feels like somebody's like going into like, I don't know, like a prison and being like, guys, look, you got 3 meals a day, beds. What else could you ask for? And it's just like, wow, yeah, I wonder. So. I mean, he eventually, like, comes around. Yeah. Like, he eventually's like, oh, wow, maybe this is bad. But it's just like... What? It's, like, at such a disconnect from the audience who has been primed for the whole other rest of the show that this is a bad place, and Marco just somehow doesn't get it. So it means that Marco is also completely an idiot, just like Star.
Well, Star gets it, and, like, they oh yeah, they disguise themselves, and Marco gets a dress. Haha, it's really funny. Marco has a dress.
Very funny.
Great joke, guys.
You did it.
That one comes back a lot. You're gonna see.
What?
You're gonna see.
That's the recurring joke.
There's you'll see it. It'll be interesting.
Weird. Okay.
But they find Ponyhead. She's been brainwashed.
Yeah, so here's another issue with this episode, is that the goal to rescue Ponyhead is not a sympathetic goal at all, because any rational person would let Ponyhead rot in jail for the rest of time.
But they're
wow.
friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
And it's her birthday.
Oh, no, Will, they're not friends. They're besties. You're your best bestie. Oh, my God. Every time I hear that word, it makes me want to die.
Okay.
Jeez. Yeah, so Ponyhead's a bad person and should be in jail.
Well, she's still technically in jail by the end of it. It's just they've taken over the jail.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, that's the thing, yeah. In the end, they free everybody, open the jail. They lead a jail revolt.
Yeah.
Lead a jail rebellion.
Tell everybody to be individuals. It's a good thing.
And then, so a couple of inexplicable things happen. So, for one, they're about to leave, and then Ponyhead's like, nah, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, just gotta stay there to make sure no one else gets brainwashed like she did.
How is she gonna prevent this exactly?
I don't know.
She's just like, wow, guys, the party's so good here. And it's just like, it's just a bunch of people standing in a field. And like, they've all just been released from prison. Like, don't you think they might want to, like, go home or something? But, yeah.
Well, it's their parents who sent them there.
Yeah. Another logical problem with this episode. Why does anybody's parents send them here?
Yeah, it is like opaquely evil.
Yeah, it's just like so it's like so I know parents send their kids to reform schools and stuff, especially when they're rich and they need to, like, whatever. They're they're royalty, they got to act right, whatever. However, there's a pretty actual distinct large line between a regular, like, reform school and a literal prison that brainwashes your child. Like, you're just...
Yeah, that whole logical conundrum there, we never quite get over that. How ridiculously evil this school is.
Yeah, you never really... I don't think we're ever really going to get a really good excuse for Star's parents for even considering sending any child they consider precious there. Like, how are we even supposed to assume that Star's parents even love her when they are willing to send her to a place where her entire psyche will be destroyed?
Well, they haven't sent her there.
Well, not yet, but they threaten often.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, not so much in the second half, but definitely in the first half. They were like, that was like every other episode.
Well, talking. Maybe it was just an idle threat.
Oh yeah, sure, whatever.
Anyway,
doesn't help giant.
I do want to talk about
whatever his name is.
Giant King Ponyhead or something.
Giant King Ponyhead.
He's just a jerk, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do want to talk about the things I liked about this episode.
Okay. Go for it.
First of all, like I said, this is when the show starts to develop its sort of surreal sense of humor that I like. With, like, especially like at the very beginning when she's like talking to Ponyhead on the mirror. You see that thing under the carpet?
Right, yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
It was kind of funny.
It was like, you think she's like hiding under the carpet, but then she like gets out of the chest or whatever. And then you think that's it, but then like Marco like mentions it. It's like, what is that thing? Don't step on it. It's just this weird joke that this show hasn't really had yet.
Yeah. And
I thought it was pretty funny. And there's some interesting foreshadowing in certain parts of the episode with certain places they go to. And particularly with one character, I don't know if you recall, the headmaster of the school, Miss Hanus.
Miss Hanus.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I remember the part where it's like, I'll find you.
Well, yeah, there's that. But then earlier in the episode, there's another moment that's important for later, in which, like, she's like freaking out because, I don't know, there's a monster or whatever. And they summoned a giant moth to attack her. I think that's what happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When?
Like after they break Marco out.
Oh yeah, there's a giant moth monster thing.
I don't know what happens to that thing. But anyway.
Yeah, that thing just leaves.
But anyway, there's a moment where like little symbols appear on her cheeks.
Ah, yeah.
And she like freaks out and like sits in the chair and like re-brainwashes herself.
Great work.
So that is important for later.
Very important. I'm sure these marks on your cheeks are just like your destiny sign or something like that.
Sign. I think it was a pair of clubs.
Oh, was it? No, that's pretty cool. Yes.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to mention.
I'm sure that
I thought a lot of the jokes in this episode were kind of funny. You're giving me a face.
I don't remember laughing during this whole episode.
No. Maybe we did.
Maybe, but so this episode, the reason why I thought it was better, despite me railing against it for the past, however long, is that this was the first episode that I watched where I wasn't tempted to shut it off before it ended because I was so bored. Things actually sort of happened in this episode, events followed occurred. Each other instead of just one event having one consequence. It was sort of chain reaction, this happened and then this happened and then this happened. Happens in stories and stuff. So that was enough to keep me from not wanting to exit out for the 22 minutes that it took for this episode.
Okay, that's a step forward. Yeah, you're gonna be a star believer by the end of this podcast, no matter what.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Which is why we're gonna move right along to the next episode now.
Yep.
Which is another cool episode that I like. Munipendence Day.
Munipendence Day. Oh, yes. So this was my new least favorite episode. Because those two stupid kids aren't dead. Why aren't they dead? You said that they were dead. I need them dead.
I figured we might get to this. When I say that they're dead, I mean that they never ever hold a major portion of the episode they did in the past. In the past episodes, they'd be there as characters throughout the entire episode, and it was torture. But from that one point on, that never happens again. They're just sort of also there.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. They need to be deceased. They need to be canonically deceased. Especially that one kid who should have been eaten. And there's no explanation for why. There's this kid who was married to the pixie princess, and was supposed to be eaten because that's what their plan was. And then he's just gone until this episode, and now he's back suddenly. Why? It would be so cool if we just never saw him again.
Alright. Here's my theory. My fan theory of how this all occurred.
Okay. I'm sure this is perfect.
I forgot what his name was, but he did get eaten by fairies. The other guy, whose name I do remember for some reason, Ferguson, he's also dead. Because after that episode, he got hit by a bus on the way home. And from this point forward, those two characters are replaced by homunculi created by Toffee to spy on Star and Marco.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some feats on that homunculi construction power that Toffee has now.
Well, it's a long-term theory. They're probably not gonna confirm it until Endgame.
Yeah, of course.
When they reveal themselves.
Yeah, once Endgame comes and Toffee is just hey guys, check this out. And he's just and he makes a living doll, and I guess they're just wow. Cool, Toffee.
But anyway, let's actually talk about this episode.
Right, yeah.
Because in this episode is all about Munipendence Day.
Right, Munipendence Day.
Which is a holiday they celebrate on Muni, about when the Mumins colonized their home. Yeah.
No, a lot of details missing. Where did they come from?
Elsewhere.
Which is... Yeah, elsewhere. That's actually the biggest problem with this whole story, but it's actually a huge problem because the way they frame it, it's just oh, ha ha ha, Mumipendence Day, which also doesn't make any sense. What? That would be independence from Muni. You started Muni.
Yeah. It was a pun.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if you picked up on that. But the name.
No, that was way too subtle for me. I would never know that was a pun.
I'm glad I could let you know.
Yeah, thanks. So it's framed oh, maybe the monsters aren't the evil guys because the Mumins came in and killed all the monsters with their magic, and it's and as they say, it seems unfair. Seems unfair.
Seems unfair.
Okay, so the big problem with this is that there's no explanation of where they came from. Well, it's sort of how are we supposed to is this colonization? They could have easily just been on the same island and just done whatever they wanted. Is this hostile colonization now?
That's the implication is the Mumins sailed to this new land and found it and built their little palace on it.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a very, very subtle allegory.
Yeah, extremely subtle. I never picked it up
for something else that happened in the real world.
Yeah, I had to read an article online about this one to grasp all of its subtle implications.
Yeah. But despite the fact that it's pretty obvious, the way they present it, I do kind of like. With, like, the little flip book that she has, and how, like, she's, like, looking at it and, like, seeing, like, the monsters go into the forest, and then the forest is, like, sets on fire.
That was a pretty good part.
And just, like, she's kind of, like, slowly realizing, I was like, oh, this is kind of messed up.
Yeah. Yep. This episode had the problem of every episode that wasn't the St. Olga's episode, in that I was really bored by halfway through, and I wanted to turn it off.
Really?
Yeah.
I like this episode. I thought it had an interesting thing going on.
I did not. That was not... Maybe it was because it was so subtle and I just couldn't pick up on it, but it's just like, this takes too long. Like, why are we, like, just standing here? Like, they have this, like, big fight between, like, the fake monsters and the fake knights, and it takes way too long. It's like, we get it.
Oh, yeah. Also, in the meantime, Toffee has an evil plan to get the wand, using this mace.
Yeah, like a really bizarre plan, honestly.
Well, we know his true intentions now.
Yeah.
He has this mace that he's going to use to teleport Star's wand back to them.
Yep.
And Buff Frog is sent on a mission to go retrieve the wand, and he fails. And as a result, he is kicked out of the castle.
Yeah. So this whole, this whole setup here is sort of like, I guess it's implied that Toffee, like, sabotaged his special portal mace thing, so that he would get kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
However, what doesn't make sense is that he offered the portal mace to, like, everybody, and Buff Frog just happened to, like, volunteer, right? So it's like, was he cool with kicking out anybody? Or was it just Buff Frog? And why did he need to kick anybody out? He was going to take over the place later.
Well, you see, because Buff Frog was loyal to Ludo, and he was, like, and he didn't like Toffee.
Right, that's right. He spoke out against Toffee, that's right.
Right, so he had to go. Because Toffee is a scheming mastermind.
Yeah, scheming mastermind. So Toffee decided to, instead of taking the wand when he definitely could have, he decided to sabotage his own mission to not get the wand.
Correct.
And then, basically just mess up his own plan. Great work, Toffee.
Well, as we know later on, stealing the wand isn't his plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's getting the wand is still part of the plan.
Well, yeah. But anyway, we got that whole bit with Toffee. I actually think this episode is pretty good.
Meh.
I like the little moments that Star has, like, sort of slowly realizing that this holiday is kind of based on a very gruesome thing.
Yeah.
It's like called, reenact the slaughter.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that Star hasn't had any problem with slaughtering monsters up to this point, so it's like...
Well, yeah. But then at the very end, like, when Buff Frog's running away, she, like, decides not to shoot him.
Yeah, great. Well, dude, you've been killing... Weren't you the person who was, like, racist against monsters? Like...
Oh, yeah.
Weren't you, like, all for, like, just kill the monsters, ask questions later? Like, what... When did this come up?
This episode?
Like, this episode. Great. Oh, suddenly monsters are people too now. Great.
Yep, that's the moral. Monsters are people too.
But they're not.
Let's move right along.
Yeah.
We got the Benagic Wand.
The Benagic Wand. Yet another episode of Star proving that she is the least mentally capable person in the entire universe.
I like this episode. I know. I figured you wouldn't like this episode.
This was one of the most boring episodes, I'd say.
I thought it was funny enough to carry it through.
Nah, I didn't think it was funny.
You didn't think it was funny even a little bit?
Nope. I thought that it was completely not funny, actually. I didn't find any funny jokes, actually, now that I think about it. It was really boring.
You didn't find the joke where they showed up at the dojo and Marco and like Star was like, "Wait, why are we at the dojo?" I was like, "Because I'm going to the dojo. That's where I'm going." This does have this one thing I don't like about this episode is that Marco is in half of it.
Yeah.
Well, more like
half.
More like a quarter of it. He's just sort of like they cut to Marco every now and then doing something boring.
Yeah.
But I like Star's part of the episode.
Yeah, and then they cut back to Star doing something boring.
No, I like Star's part of the episode.
She's going to buy something from a store. Nothing happens.
And it's a hilarious adventure.
Ah ha ha ha! She thought the guy with the beard was a werewolf. Ha ha ha! Yeah, werewolves are like a human thing. Like that's something we invented. How do you know about it? How do you know?
Because they have real werewolves.
Oh, they got real werewolves on
Obviously.
Uni, huh?
Why are you questioning the logic of the joke?
Well, mostly because like this whole episode is based on this fish out of water thing, and it seems that humans and humans are relatively similar, actually. Because even when werewolves don't exist on Earth, we make them up so we can be more similar to them humans, apparently.
You didn't like the joke where Star was like, "Oh no, I guess I'll have to go on my own." And then she, like, for some reason, like, cartwheels out of the building.
Why would that be funny?
I thought it was funny.
That's just cartwheeling.
It was just so bizarre. It caught me off guard. I thought it was amusing.
Yeah, okay, sure, whatever you say.
But I thought this episode was funny, but nothing happens.
Yeah,
nothing
absolutely
happens. It was just an episode where Star goes to the store, except for the very end, which...
Yeah, the very end is very weird.
It's the weirdest joke in the whole episode.
Yeah, it's like...
in the whole show up to this point.
I don't even... Like, is it even a joke? Like, what's the punchline?
I don't know. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah, so Star uses her new Banagic wand, which is just, like... It turns bananas into, like, yogurt or something.
I don't know.
Something.
Something like
But... Anyway, she gives like a bowl of this yogurt stuff to Marco, and Marco's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Star. I underestimated you. I didn't think you could get there or whatever." And then she just slaps the pudding out of his hands.
Well, that's underselling it because she says what and is like, "Yeah," I didn't, and then she's like sort of like staring at him with like this dead expression, and then like slowly like goes just low and like knocks the bowl to the ground. And that's just the end of the episode. Yeah. It just cuts on that joke.
Yeah. No explanation. No anything. Like,
it's so weird.
What?
It's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about when I feel like they hired some weirdo with like a weird sense of humor after that episode. And he's been like getting all these weird jokes in.
Yeah, I wish all these weird jokes would actually be funny instead of just baffling, though. That'd be great.
Well, the fact that the baffling is funny to me.
Well, I mean, maybe we think the other things are funny then. That's there's just inexplicable things happening. I don't really find very funny.
Wow. You're going to have to move past that.
Yeah,
we're going to become the biggest Star versus the Forces of Evil fan.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. But that's all that for Banagic Wand. I think you should watch that episode. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd skip that one.
Alright, next one is Interdimensional Field Trip.
Interdimensional Field Trip.
This one was pretty boring.
Yeah.
It was just an episode where nothing happened.
It's a teacher episode.
Yeah.
Like, why?
I don't know why.
We haven't had a teacher episode since the last one, and that one sucked. Why would you do it again?
That is true. And I have no defense. This episode is just boring.
So yeah,
it's not as bad as previous worthless episodes, but it is pretty boring.
Yeah. It's like, it shines more light on the fact that Star still hasn't helped her teacher after she turned her into a troll.
Yep.
It's just, I guess...
That is still the case.
I guess they just wanted, like, a troll to be, like, their friend for some reason.
I mean, she's not a character that is prevalent throughout the series.
We can only hope.
So, yeah, it's just like a weird detail of this story now.
Yeah. This episode is like, they're going on a boring field trip. Star takes them to a interesting place? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know what was up with
Where
that
did they
location.
go? There's no real explanation for exactly where they are, except for that it's a place with interesting things in it.
Yeah, it's just...
Yep, and then all of Star's class, and this was the episode where you realize, like, Star isn't actually stupid. It turns out that the entire universe of Star vs. the Force of Evil is built on some kind of gigantic, like, lead-filled, like, pipe or something that delivers all of the lead directly into the water for everybody to drink. Because everyone in this episode is suicidally stupid. This is the joke, right? Like, haha, it's hard to be, like, because Star takes over for the teacher or whatever. So, and then everybody's like, haha, I'm doing stuff, I'm getting in trouble. But the things that they do are not, like, crazy, are not, like, you know, things that you could imagine doing by accident. These are things like jumping into a giant hole, putting your tongue on an electrical, like, exposed electricity. Or, what are you doing? Why? These people they're just brain dead. Like, how am I supposed to even, like, what? It's awful.
It's pretty stupid.
I really hated every single second of it. I was just like, Star, if they're that ready to kill themselves, just let them.
Yeah.
This is natural selection at work, Star. Just let it happen.
Although, I will say one thing for it, is it does have the whole Marco and what is the girl's name again? I forgot.
Yeah,
Jackie. Marco and Jackie thing. And I think
that part was awful.
I thought that part was hilarious. Because it's the most garbage, awkward thing a human can do.
Yeah.
Just like sending her awkward text messages.
Yeah, it's just like, did I need to see this? Will it ever amount to anything? Because apparently Marco's just gonna have Star anyway. Like,
I thought it was just cringy enough to be funny.
Yeah, I thought it was not.
But that's all there is to say about this episode.
Yeah, that's all there is to say about this. Oh yeah, there's like a giant monster that is like the most deadly monster in the whole universe, and it looks like garbage. Yeah. I hate it.
No one cares. Nothing happens.
No
one learns anything.
No one learns anything. No one cares.
Star doesn't become a more responsible person.
No.
The episode ends. Moving on, we have Marco grows a beard. What did you think of Marco grows a beard, the episode?
This one was pretty boring, too.
Oh, I kind of like this one.
Nah, it was boring. It was just like, what is this, like, hair thing? Like,
That's
the whole episode.
Yeah. I don't know about like the first like 5 minutes where like they're talking about why Marco is growing a beard, but I don't care about that.
Oh yeah, that part was
Star magically grows him a beard, but then the beard grows out of control because that's the joke.
Yep.
And she loses her wand and she has to go rescue Marco. While also Ludo and the gang are also trying to navigate the hair to go get the wand.
Right.
And Star has like a weird dream where she meets her spirit.
Yeah, a weird hair dream.
Where she meets her spirit guide, which is a laser eye shooting puppy, which are just around.
Yep. And all dead thanks to this hair, obviously.
Yes.
Except for this one.
Who tells her that, you don't need your wand to be cool.
There's a big problem with that, in that Star is completely worthless without her wand.
Well, she proves you wrong, because without her wand, she beats up all the monsters.
That's not an accomplishment at all at this point.
It is not, because, Marco just beats up the monsters. Yeah. And he's garbage. He's a
bad person.
But, I thought it was kind of fun.
It really sets into stone how bad of a person Star is. Like, Star's, like, Marco specifically tells her, do not grow me a beard with your magic under any circumstances. And she's just like, I don't want to do what you say, I'll just do it.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, and what do you know? It goes completely wrong. If only there was a way to prevent this! If only we could have done something!
But then Star wouldn't have learned her lesson. And
yeah, okay, great. And she definitely learned her lesson thanks to this, right? She's definitely never gonna make this mistake again. I'm sure she'll never.
Specific mistake.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll never use her magic irresponsibly again. Never.
Never.
Oh, you know what? You know what was one funny joke in this? It was the part where everybody's like looking at like their facial hair and being like, "Nice beard," and it's just like nothing. That part was pretty funny.
That was weird. I don't know what's going on.
It's literally just like stubble.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, nice beard, so full. It's just like, okay.
I don't even know. I thought the ending was pretty good. Or she's like, I've learned my lesson, Marco, to not use magic, so I'm gonna shave your beard the non-magical way. Yeah,
that was really funny. And by that, I mean it was stupid because Star's just being retarded again.
But anyway.
And also, if you shave it off, what are you going to do with all the rest of the hair? You're going to have to just get rid of it by magic anyway. Why don't you just poof the beard away?
That is true. But another thing happened in this episode that was some actual plot progression.
Oh, okay.
As you might recall. Well, in their attempt to get the wand, Ludo fails so spectacularly that all the monsters agree that he is the worst villain ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is true. And that Toffee is a way better villain than he is. So they kick him out of the castle, and now Toffee is in control of the monsters, which seems to have been his plan all along. How devious.
Wow, very devious plan. Couldn't have been done by just killing Ludo in his sleep and just,
Well, he's not a murderer. Don't.
Oh yeah, not a murderer. Don't be ridiculous.
He is a murderer, though.
Yeah.
But moving right along. But that leads us directly into the next episode, which my only note for this episode, Storm the Castle, the season finale.
Season finale.
My note is the show is cool for an entire episode, with no caveats.
I mean, I don't know about for the full episode.
Take that back. It was a great episode.
I'm not gonna take it back. This was in the St. Olga camp of things happening, so at least I wasn't bored through the whole episode. So that's something.
Yes.
It's definitely a cut above the rest of the episode.
Yeah, especially in terms of animation. The animation in the episode is even above. It was like, I guess I'll just say it was Gravity Falls level animation. It was like, if the whole show looked like this, I don't know, I'd like this show way more.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the animation in this episode is really great. They have the angles that make the character designs look good.
I don't remember any specific angles, but that makes sense.
Well, there's a few really good shots of like when like Star is like intimidating Ludo. Like, where's Mark? And they got some really good shots in there. Really good looking, in my opinion.
Right, so storm the castle. Yes. Marco gets kidnapped by Ludo.
No, not by Ludo.
What?
By Toffee.
Oh, by Toffee.
Ludo's been kicked out of the castle.
He's in Ludo's castle, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Is what they
Which
say.
Is what I like, because Toffee took over last episode and like immediately, he's already done just the obvious thing to win. He's already won. The moment he is in control, he has won. He has won the game.
Yeah, that was a good part. Is just like as soon as Toffee takes over, anybody competent could probably do this. It's like, you're taking a wand from a 14-year-old girl. Like, it shouldn't actually be that hard.
It isn't that hard because he just does it.
Yeah, and he just does it, and it wasn't hard.
It was easy.
Great work.
And that's why I like it, because okay, Toffee is obviously not messing around.
Yeah, great work.
He just
Toffee.
immediately one episode later, he's already won. Which I like. But
so part of this episode is like Buff Frog and Ludo are like hanging out outside the castle.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Being dinguses, I guess.
Yeah, like what was it going on? Ludo is like trying to bribe him into helping him take back the castle.
Just proving further Ludo's incompetence. Like, when has this Buff Frog ever come in handy before?
Well, he's the only one that isn't on Toffee's side.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I like Buff Frog, even though that's not his name.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't pronounce his actual name.
As far as I'm concerned, that is his name.
I do. It's like, is it Butt Frog? No, it is not Butt Frog. Is it Chad?
No, his actual name is Chad. Actually,
that's just what he calls him from now on. And yeah, they have that little interaction. Star shows up. Yeah. And beats him up because
so Star comes in, blows Toffee's arm off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like what on? That was one thing that was because I would never have noticed it until he stood up.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, wait, what? What did she blast him with?
With the magic.
Yeah, but she does that like every single episode, and none of them ever lose their limbs.
Well, now she's serious. She's
now
she's rescue serious? Marco.
Why didn't she decapitate any of the other ones? She only managed to blow off the arm of the guy who can regrow his arm. How convenient.
Well, you gotta show off his arm to growing powers.
Yeah, sure.
But it makes you think, if he can do that, then why is he missing a finger?
Oh, wow. Dun, dun, dun. Very mysterious.
Very mysterious.
Because he's dumb. Alright, so Marco's locked in this like cell, and this was one of the things I did not like about this episode is, so Star comes in, does a little fighting, and then blows up the cell, right?
The fighting was cool in this episode as well. I liked it. Like, it wasn't just normal like, oh, hiya, hiya. It was like they're actually like having a fight with these, and she does some cool things with like the magic, like she like does the bugs on the thing, and they like all blow up, and you just hear it from Marco's side, just like the thunks. And then she like turns her wand to like a bazooka.
Yeah, she turns her wand into a bazooka.
And at one point she like gets smashed by like a giant mace. So like things are like actually happening in this fight.
Sort of. So the problem is well, for one, it doesn't make any sense because none of these monsters have ever put up a fight before. I don't know why they're suddenly able to fight.
Well, they're not. They're not. They like beat them up.
Well, no, they like, you know, the corner or something, whatever. Doesn't matter. But the point is, also Buff Frog is suddenly useful, despite it is the first time.
Yeah, he's like suddenly competent.
Now that he's not on the
He's a father
side.
now.
Oh, he's a father now. Yeah, that's right. Great. But so there's just this little line I'd like to share with you. So she blows up the container containing like this like clear glass or you know like super glass like jail cell that Marco's in, and then she's like, oh, let's go, Marco, pushes him back in. And then he's like, oh, sorry, Marco, didn't mean to do that. And then the glass that she shattered reforms around Marco. And then she's like, oh no, I blow it up again. Oh, here comes Toffee with his magnificent line. Don't even bother. That glass is twice as strong. Or crystal, I think.
I don't know.
That crystal is twice as strong now. What? What do you mean?
He came prepared.
The same crystal?
Yeah.
Is now twice as strong. Why didn't you just use the twice as strong version to begin with?
Because obviously destroying it and it reforming made it stronger, obviously.
Why? Why not just make it stronger?
Well, because it gets stronger after it endures a giant magical... I don't know how you didn't understand this. It's like just a magic crystal.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Why not? It's magic crystal.
Well, it doesn't make any sense because the optimal move would be just break your own crystal thing so it can get stronger.
With magic that he doesn't have?
You can break it with other stuff. I don't know. It's not that good at deflecting magic to begin with.
Well, apparently it is really good.
Only when you destroy it first, which could have ruined his plan. If Marco had just walked out of the cell, his plan would be over. Ruined. He would have been the same as Ludo if only Marco had just walked 3 steps forward.
I'll give you that. But
they're so stupid.
I'll give you that. But I do think I think he has he brought this specifically magic repellent glass cube that he probably assumed Star couldn't break. And he seemed surprised when she was able to break it. And he did get lucky that he didn't just walk out of the cube. You know, take the first step anybody would take when they were in a jail cell and they've been broken out is not be in a jail cell. You know? I did like the sort of little interactions Marco had with Toffee, like when he was just in the cell.
Oh.
Like Toffee just like, he goes to punch him and then he's just like not even there.
Yeah.
To show that he's like on a whole other league from Marco's basic karate.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thanks Star vs. Force of Evil.
Not on another level from getting shot in the face with magic though.
Yeah. Of course he regenerates from that. Yeah. Obviously. But anyway, after they have the fight that I thought was cool, they did some cool stuff in that fight. It was like it was well animated. And there was actually things going on, unlike most of the fights, where it was just like, oh, hiya, beat up the monsters.
Punch him into a wall. Punch the next one into a wall. Punch the same one into a wall again.
Yep. But after that, Marco's trapped. Toffee's about to crush him to death. So he's like, okay, I'll give you the wand. And he says he doesn't want the wand.
He says, blow up the wand.
he said. And then he just has that one moment where he's like, surprise! Which is really bizarre.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It just came out of nowhere. And then he goes back to being like the stoic.
Yeah, he just goes back.
Oh yeah, it's like, do you think I'm like Ludo? As like Ludo's being chewed up and swallowed by the chicken guy.
Yeah, Ludo didn't die either. Very disappointed. Wouldn't that be so great if Ludo was just dead right now? That would be so cool. But no.
Nah.
He
comes back.
He does the thing that doesn't happen, which is get popped out of an egg that he got swallowed
and then
by.
Thrown into a portal.
So apparently that chicken monster is actually a Yoshi.
Yes, that is confirmed. Yoshi's actually had feathers in the real dinosaur.
Oh, I see.
Didn't you know?
Yeah, real dinosaurs have feathers.
Anyway, but yeah, he tells Star to destroy the wand. And she does.
But oh no, this brilliant strategist, this devious planner didn't anticipate the fact that it would blow up.
Oh. Did he?
Did he? Well, he just let it blow up right in front of him.
He was grinning at it as it was exploding.
Oh, was it? Was he just trying to blow up Ludo's castle then?
It was all part of his plan to destroy Ludo's castle.
Really? That seems like it could have been accomplished much easier by just like some bombs or something.
Obviously not. We haven't gotten to his reasons yet.
All right.
But as you may have guessed, this episode sets up a whole lot of stuff that occurs over the next season.
I imagine.
And Star blows up her wand.
But not really.
And then it comes back.
Yeah, then it just comes
back.
A
little tiny horse comes in, puts on a unicorn horn, and takes the place of the other unicorn, which she killed in the wand.
Yeah, thanks, Star.
Yep. And
that was really disappointing. I wish they had just not had a wand for a little while instead of just immediately giving her.
I can understand that.
It just lessens the impact of the wand being blown up.
It does a little bit.
It's like, oh, it's a big deal. Like, whoa, what am I going to do without my wand? Oh, wait.
It is still a big deal, but just not as big a deal.
Yeah, just not a very big deal. If the wand's blown up.
Because, at the very end, we get more foreshadowing with Glossaric.
Yes.
He's all like, well, I hope you found all the pieces. Dun 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 dun.
But somehow they didn't, I guess.
Well, no.
Did they send the other piece into, like, another dimension or something?
No, it just blew up.
But we see, like, the piece at the end, like, somewhere.
Somewhere.
Oh.
It landed somewhere else.
Landed somewhere.
But yeah, that is the end of Storm the Castle and the end of the first season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
The first season. And it sucks.
The first season, overall, as an entirety, is not very good.
No.
I will not argue with that. There are high points. There are very, very low points. But has the show, at least somewhat with this last episode, captured your interest a little bit?
No.
Really? Not even a little bit?
It's not interesting. Like, what? So, we've got, like, these plot threads, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Toffee thing, and, like, the Miss Heinous thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, who cares? Who cares? I would have to care about Star or Marco or Toffee to care about any of this. Like, what? And or like the big mysteries of, like, the wand or whatever. Like, I don't care. Nothing about this is interesting enough for me to care about any of it. Like, if you want me to be interested, there's gotta be interesting stuff happening.
I think there is interesting stuff happening.
It's not interesting. It's just weird stuff and, boring stuff.
I disagree. Because I think, despite her flaws, I do like Star.
Yeah.
I think she's fun. Marco's still like the most boring human being in the universe.
Yeah.
And he's not going to stop being that anytime soon.
Yeah. Marco is the human equivalent of, flat tap water.
But anyway, I think this show, despite its flaws, is pretty good.
Yeah, I would say the show, despite its flaws, is really bad.
But you at least admit that it has gotten better from the beginning.
Yeah, of course. There's obviously a step up,
yeah,
in just terms of anything happening.
Yeah.
It's just not a very big step up.
I think it's a pretty big step up. To go from nothing happening to something happening, that's a pretty big step.
That's a couple steps away from something interesting happening, though.
I think it's interesting.
I don't see what's in. Everything's just so simple. It's you got the monsters, and they're like you got the toffee guy, and the toffee guy has secret plan.exe that he wants to do, and it's just I get it. It's he wants to be king, or he wants to kill, or he wants revenge on the humans, or whatever. It could be any number of extremely boring motivations.
But it could be an interesting motivation.
Yeah, I guess it could be, but the show has given me no reason to assume that there'll ever be an interesting motivation in the whole show.
That's true. At that point, we don't have much of a read on the other important characters in the story. We will get more of those characters in the next season, which is twice as long as this season.
Oh, excellent.
And I haven't quite decided how we're going to break up those episodes.
Yeah, well,
because despite the fact that you're not interested, we are watching the next season. Congratulations. You're on the train.
You gotta owe me for this one.
Sure. Though I don't know what that means.
Yeah, well, me neither. We'll decide that later.
But by the end of this, you will be at least somewhat interested in Star vs. the Forces.
We'll see about that.
I mean, I don't know. I just think the show's got some good jokes. Obviously, you don't think that. I think the show's got some fun characters. Obviously, you don't think that.
No.
We're at a little bit of an impasse at this point. But I will overcome.
But, yeah, I guess there's more battles to be had.
More battles to be had. Alright. I think that about wraps it up for this episode of the Star vs. the Forces of Evil podcast.
Yep, I've got nothing else to say. This show sucks.
This show is cool. I think it's cool. So, following from last time, let's just give a quick list of the episodes that you don't need to watch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But there are less of them this time, in my opinion. You have to watch Fortune Cookies.
No, you don't.
Important plot.
Psst, no, you don't.
Yeah, you do. You gotta meet Toffee. You gotta meet the character.
You can just assume you know Toffee. It's not like he gives you a big rundown on his personality. Let me give you everything you need to know about Toffee right now.
But it's his introduction.
He's evil, and he's better at being evil than Ludo. There you go. You know everything that you could possibly need to know about Toffee.
Yeah, but you gotta see the introduction. It's
sure, whatever you say.
It's part of the narrative of the show.
So yeah, watch Fortune Cookies. Skip over all the parts with Star in it.
That episode just looks so bad. I don't know why. It's really bizarre. But Freeze Day, you can skip it. You can skip Freeze Day. There's nothing interesting. Royal Pain, skip Royal Pain. Don't watch that one.
Skip.
St. Olga's. Watch that one.
Watch that one.
That one's good. It's pretty good. It's not as good as Storm the Castle, but it is okay. It is an okay episode of a TV show.
Yeah, Storm the Castle. It took way too long to get to the castle. There's too much messing around.
I mean, it's the entire second half of the episode.
Yeah, the second half. It should have been 3/4 of the episode. Why did it take so long for Marco to get kidnapped?
It just happens.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, move on.
Mutapendence Day. I liked Mutapendence Day.
Skip it.
Watch it. Don't listen to this man. It is actually a good episode. He's
no, it's
just
not.
a fool.
It has those bad people in it. They're not dead. They should be dead.
I agree that they should be dead, but that doesn't make the episode shouldn't watch. You should definitely watch Me Independence Day. It's important. Magic Wand.
Skip it.
I like this episode. However, I do admit that there is nothing in this episode. Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was funny. But that's...
Call it an optional.
It's optional. The Magic Wand. Interdimensional field trip. Skip it.
Yeah, skip that.
Marco grows a beard.
Skip it.
You have to watch that one.
Oh,
that one is important.
You have to. Well, skip the entire...
Mostly because it sets up the next Storm the Castle, which is like the best episode in the show so far.
Yeah. So here's the tip. Skip the first 8 minutes. Because it's just a bunch of dumb stuff. And then the plot stuff happens at the end.
Yeah, maybe. No, watch the whole thing. I like Mark Who Grows a Beard. It's alright. And then finally, obviously, Storm the Castle. Definitely watch it. That one's a good episode. Like as my note says, it's like the show being cool for an entire episode, and I like it.
And it's never been cool before.
It's been a little cool before, but not as cool. Now it's getting real cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, and next season it'll be even cooler. I mean, there's still going to be some filler episodes.
Well, I don't want to go too far.
I'm not going to come out and say that next season is like a glorious season.
Yeah.
There are some definite duds. But I think overall, even the filler is better in season 2.
We'll see. Well, I'll be the judge of that.
I'll be the judge of that.
And I'll be the judge of you, audience.
Post your opinions on his opinion on the show in the comments.
Yeah, do that.
And we'll be sure to respond to them in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll be sure to respond to them.
I'll write up a list and we'll have it and I'll just read through all the comments of people saying how terrible you are at talking about shows.
Mm-hmm. Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'll take you on.
I dare you. I double dog dare you.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. And have a good night.
Adios.